Team Liquid have returned to their winning ways. What a great start here. Nice. Can't relate. But yeah, welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Yungsun. I'm back here with Kakuka and Billy. We had a lot of questions on, how Team Liquid are going to prepare in the very short amount of time they've had since Bangkok. Are you guys satisfied with what we saw on Split?
I mean, definitely. We knew that Team Liquid was very strong on this map. It's good to see that they still have it, that they still have that dynamic that they can rely on.
Even with an addition of a new player as well, right? I think that they did really well, and I think that they have a lot to be happy with.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing here in this breakdown, the breakdown of the first kills, of course, it's heavily in favor of Team Liquid. If you think about the gun rounds themselves for the side of Gentlemen, they were really there. Even though they get 6 rounds, 2 of them are pistol, well, 2 of them in the first half, then they win the pistol in the second half, but they couldn't even convert. It was... I'm going to say that the composition that Team Liquid was playing is something that they're very comfortable with. I cannot say the same for Gentlemen. I do not think that they found their comfort. Click, poor guy, had a terrible performance, could not find a single opener. He went 0 and 8 in those duels. Yeah. So it's never easy.
Was not clicking.
It wasn't clicking.
But sometimes it just feels like maybe one of the teams was just better.
Yes.
It was just a better performance.
Yeah,
and it's a better performance, of course, out of the fan favorite Cats. Everybody loves Cats, and Kiko and Nats, Billy, they are just playing it like they were before Bangkok.
Yeah, exactly. And when we talk about those opening duels, these two, they were great, right? Kiko managing to get 6 opening kills and 0 first deaths, and Pate managing to get 4 and then 1 first death. So like when you consider those kind of things, they were never kind of giving away the man advantage, which is what we've seen a lot from them in kickoff. So it's nice that they've kind of been able to amend those sort of mistakes.
Absolutely, and I think that their impact was more in this kind of rounds where the decision making was the difference between these two. There was I think it was like round 5 or 6 where we see Kiko just jumping onto sides, ults, and go straight to the defuse. It seems like this is not even synergy, it's just individual level, individual brilliance, I have to say.
This is what we see a lot, right, from players that go to global events. They gain even more confidence by just being there, soak up all the atmosphere. They come back and they're even more hungry to go back again, because let's not forget, Nas missed out an entire year of global events. And right now, Liquid are one of the teams we should be sending to Toronto, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so important that you mentioned that. Yes, we mentioned the experience that they have in Bangkok, but remember, Team Liquid, throughout the year, they're the team in EMEA that have played the most because they had all that lower bracket run there at kickoff.
They did indeed. But let's talk about Gentlemates on the other side, because you heard it from Boaster there in the pre-match. It is not easy to switch IGLs. He's got so much he has to focus on, but Mini, Billy, was one of the players that tried his goddamn best to keep his team in this game.
Yeah, it's really difficult because you could kind of see the approach that they were trying to have, right? They were having a lot of slow contacts on their attack, and despite having a double duelist composition, Team Liquid, they just were not feeding into that whatsoever, right? So I think that he was trying to work around what he was able to provide from his lurks, and the rest of the team just weren't really like on the ball to follow up with that.
I think that this really wasn't their map. I expected to, like the composition didn't favor the opponent. It's a tough opponent because they have a lot of experience in the map, and it's probably their best map, and now that Abyss is gone. So I just want to think and hope that Haven is going to be different, because when we talk about comfortability, Haven should be that for Gentlemen. It's very good results. I want to see how the IGL is going to change. But remember, they were the only team that we had in EMEA that were running the Neon here, looking at Click again to see if he can bounce back from that performance.
Yeah, I definitely think Neon was something that he was a lot more comfortable on, right? So it'd be nice to see him get that confidence up. And I think as well, like, how are they kind of integrating Kamek into the team, having that newer player to kind of set him up is kind of like where I need this to come to fruition now.
Yeah, exactly. You're speaking about Kamek looking on the other side now. If Team Liquid wants to close this in a 2-0 fashion, what is Serial going to be playing? We saw him slotting right into the Astra. Do we expect him to in this Haven pick up the tickle?
Yeah, it's a weird one when you think of it, right? I don't know what to expect from Serial. I think that he had an okay debut, and I think that if they can continue to have this momentum, there was a couple of rounds, especially when Team Liquid switched sides, that I thought we were starting to get muddy Valorant again from Team Liquid. I was getting a little bit worried, not winning any of those pistols. So I think Gentlemates could still be in with a chance here.
Here's the thing, with Kamek not playing the Tejo on Gentlemates, as we move on to the next one, Liquid, who's going to play Tejo for them? And will Kamek go back to the the tail.
Cyril said he was playing new agents.
Yeah, but
plural, so.
I would like to see Kamek play the Tejo again. It was one of the better things, you know, he brought out for us. So I hope if that is the plan, if they plan to change.
Robbie Piquet used to play the Soba, so I think it's a good and fair trade. You're still gonna have the breach, you can combo it perfectly, you do not give up the drone, you still have the damage. I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean, do we even potentially see some sort of double duelist come out from them again? I mean, they were
Mini
really
Yoru.
Yeah, I mean,
Mini Yoru, give it to me.
maybe Mini Yoru.
Actually,
Zipan race.
Honestly,
You like that?
I was thinking a Click Waylay potentially, because of course he enjoys the neon on this map. So do we see them try to implement that Waylay?
I actually wouldn't hate it. I agree with you. I really, really wouldn't hate it if that's the route they go down, because why not just throw a surprise out at Team Liquid as well? Because there's no way they would have been able to prep for that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going for the new maps, right? Like, think about this. Team Liquid has gone to Bangkok. They've also had the change. They only have a set amount of time to prepare for everything. You, on the other hand, we were saying they were one of the first teams to leave the competition and kick off. It's almost 2 months that you have to prepare. If it's not the new maps and it's going to double down on the ones that you have already comfortable and that you have already played, what is going to be the surprise? Because you cannot tell me that you're going to keep everything the same, even though you've changed a player, that you're going to keep everything the same to surprise a team that has had so much experience already.
And to be fair, it's not even a crazy thought, right? Because it suits Click. A character like Waylay, you can really see him pop off on it. But that's the problem. He's got to get into the game. We saw it from Kayak earlier. All it takes is a couple of kills and you're there. You know, you get the confidence back. Everything's going to be good. And this is also their map pick. So, Billy, do you think we're going to see a map 3? We want to.
Of course we want to. I think it really just depends on if they can, like you say, get their heads back in the game. I think that Click didn't find any success at all really on Split just then, and that's why I started questioning, you know, is it because we have Kamek on that breach? I was surprised to see Zipan on the Tejo. I thought it would have been Kamek. So yeah, I think it's more just like how was the rest of his team also helping set him up for success?
Yeah, I think after the last map, it's just a massive GG go next. You know, GG go next, let's not think about it. I do also want to give some kudos to Nats as well, because what a phenomenal player. He just keeps getting better. We see so often some of these players that's been here for such a long time, it's hard for them to improve, to learn new things. But I
stay hungry.
Yeah, but I just cannot believe how great of a IGL he is on top of how great of a player he is. He's honestly one of the best we have in the region.
Mini's doing the same on the other side, though. I don't think that his personal and individual performance has been affected by the fact that he is IGL, and I do want to see, now that we're jumping into familiar territory, how much of the old Gentlemates we're going to see in the new one, because the coaching stuff doesn't change, but maybe he likes things done in a different way. I remember a Gentlemates that was extremely passive, just spraying everything for the retake, with having very good retakes, do not get me wrong, but having that very marked and by now predictable style.
I want to see Cadaver step up as well, because a lot of the vibes from this team is Kada. He's the big brother, he's the dad at this point of this team, and I want him to come in and give them some energy, give him some noise, you know, get them pumped up here, because I didn't really see much of that in the last one, besides the mini 4K from the pistol.
I have to agree, and then on the other side you have Patty shouting across the stage, and I think that, yeah, Gentlemates, they looked a little timid when we were watching them throughout Split. You know, they weren't really shouting things back.
He's smiling.
And Mini was hyping himself up. I mean, yeah, maybe he heard you. I don't know.
Yeah, he's cracking up. I want to know. Oh, Mini's giving a little smirk as well. Maybe he was joking around.
No, but it's good to see that the vibes are up, that they can move on from whatever it was that it happens. We're seeing Click right now. Whatever happened on that first map has to go out of the window. You just need to focus on Haven. Please take us to Icebox. I so would love to see this surges at Icebox.
Especially between, like you said, these two teams. I want to see the Icebox as well. We are going to get into games soon, just checking everything's going to be okay on our end. So thank you very much, you guys, for sticking with us. And I saw in the poll result, it was like 78% people voted
Liquid.
It was a
blowout, yeah. I mean, people are just not confident in Gentlemates.
No, I think all the Gentlemates fans are watching Squeezy stream probably. They're not, they didn't get to see the poll, because there is no way the Gentlemates fans wouldn't be voting for them. They got such a big fan base.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Champs Team Paris coming up. They also want to avoid relegation. We don't want to see a team like Gentlemates being in risk of that. And they have to start here. Even though their group on paper doesn't look, you know, like the hardest group in the world, you got to get all the wins you can get.
You know, I was thinking about this yesterday with Koi, and how, you know, some teams are struggling to get the wins, and how that ends up playing on the players, like when we see them on stage and how the dynamic and the aura of the team. Some teams honestly just need a win, any win, to start building up towards something. And I think that for Gentlemates, even though Team Liquid is one of the toughest opponents that they're probably going to find in their group, I think that they can take this win, but it has to start here.
We got to start on Haven. We will be bringing you Agent Select in just a moment. One last thing, Billy, you want to see Camo back on the Jet here, or maybe switch it up?
I don't mind Camo on the Jet. I just don't know. It's hard to say, right? Because they've been playing it recently. You know, they've maybe not had the time that they would have liked to have switched things up. So I don't mind them sticking with what they've played in the past.
Absolutely. Having a new player just back from Bangkok, 2 new maps coming in. Abyss, one of your best maps, is gone. You have already too much on your plate. I do not think that switching the composition. Also, if you were to tell me that this composition did not work, then I'll be on your side.
Well, let's take a look at the Agent Select and see if we will get anything different coming out here. It will be Serial on the Tejo, and then Kamek will just do Breach instead of Sova.
Oh, so now since
Sova.
yeah. So Zipan has moved on to the Sova, which was with Robbie BK was playing, and Kamek probably just out of comfort, just like we saw on Split, just sticking onto that bridge. Serial, of course, playing his first Tejo here, just lotting in for what Kamek was doing, and we're going to see no surprises in terms of the compositions.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, no changes on either side other than a couple of like role switching here. But Serial being on that Tejo, I'm intrigued to see how that will go. Just because, you know, previously Kamek had so many like good little set plays.
This is the
So have they been able to like kind of integrate Serial into the team in that regard?
This is the thing. I do not want to see Gentlemates get caught out by anything Serial does on that Tejo, because Kamek should know every little setup, every little cheese. He should be able to tell his teammates. So let's hope the Gentlemates, Bitch and Tom, can take us to a map 3.
Well, I'm a fan of Icebox, so I wouldn't mind if we end up there, Tom. But after that performance in the first half, I think most people will be coming in favoring Team Liquid. We saw it on the poll, but who knows where the French fans have gone. Maybe this will get them back out of the woodwork. Attack side start for Gentlemates here on Haven. Are you going to sow the seeds of hope, Tom?
It's one of their better maps. I think they won it a couple of times when we were back at kickoff, but again, the opponent caliber was not the same. It was a very, very close victory versus Apex, and then a dominant victory versus Koi. But these are teams that I think on paper you'd expect them to beat, whereas Liquid is a team you don't expect them to beat. Whereas on the other side of things, you go on Liquid, they beat both Foot and Vitality over a kickoff on this map. Those are big names to take down. Lost to G2. Most people lose to G2. So I think this is going to be a tough one for them. Obviously, it's the plug and play. Can Serial match up to what Kamek was doing? And more importantly, on the other side, can Kamek match up to, well, what Zipan was doing and Zipan matching up to what their IGL was doing? It makes things a lot more difficult. And I'm going to miss seeing the Kamek Teo, because I think it was fantastic on this map.
The pressure being put onto the C site by Gentlemates, and although it was relatively undefended, that paranoia, the stun, has reinforced the site nicely. A rotation from Gentlemates, but just the same for Team Liquid. Already moving through the spawn are 2 players. It's Camo and Patatek. They'll have utility. Both the Breach and the Tejo being here alongside Camo on the Jet. This is where trouble starts to brew. Players already spotted in the drone, stops them from using their abilities. Camo sees one on short. They're starting to tick all the boxes here. Team Liquid know exactly where the hit's coming in, but Click tries to use the stun to get back sight. Unfortunately, Kiko's there, filling in the space and filling the bodies with lead on the other side. It's Team Liquid with a 1-0 start on Mate's map pick.
Yeah, a scary thing to bring up as well, that Kiko has actually moved over to his favored duelist of Omen. You might be thinking that sounds mad, but that is where he put up ridiculous numbers throughout all of kickoff, and it just seemed like this. I like. He sees his teammate getting stunned by Breach, immediately swings because he's not stunned. Make sure that, I think it was Patty at the back of the site, comes out alive and basically just takes a big risk to save him. That's the thing. I feel like as well, one of my favorite matchups going into this now is Patatek was obviously supporting a lot of what Kamek was doing when he played that Tejo. Now Kamek is going to try and match the master on the Breach. And I'll be honest, I don't know if he's got what it takes.
It's a big task, that is for sure. Team Liquid, defensive success starting this out. They filled in C site, but Mates already up close. They've used these smokes to get into sneaky little angles. The big swing, but Nats is there to catch them all. Patatek and Kiko have his back well and truly covered, and I think Mates ran into a few more bodies than they expected to.
I disagree. They did not have him covered. They ran through the short smoke and Nats got killed. That was horrific.
They traded him out afterwards.
Yeah, but they didn't have him covered. He holds onto the right side of the site, does all the work, and kills in the back. Terrible team.
He's being betrayed. Look, they are there.
Look.
They are looking at it.
Look at how's he got to there? What?
Oh, yeah, that's tough. They've hung him out to dry a little bit.
I expect better. Obviously, only one player lost. And I love it. We just mute the whole thing he's saying. We're just looking at his face at this point. Patatek, I plead with you, if you ever watch this back, which I don't think you will, but if you do, please say something we can put on the broadcast. Just once. Just once. It'll be nice.
Just hold back this one time. It's our only request.
2-0. Relatively clean. And actually some heavier investments in the last, meaning that if they want shields, heavy shields, which they do versus that sniper, they're going to have to go down to Guardians. So it's actually, on paper, other than the Sheriff, which is in Nats' hands, it kind of almost looks like a better buy for Liquid.
Well, the seaside hits have not really been working for Mates, but it was a pistol, a low buy this time. With rifles out, with Guardians in play. A movement towards A site is going to be tested out. We see Nats' setup.
It's only Nats with a Sheriff.
Sheriff in hand. He'll use his cages here, just hoping to pick them up as they step into those traps for now, not intending to move towards the backside, and in fact, just tapping the spike and giving up control. 40 seconds left, though. Nats is a big pick. It's going to free up a lot of the site control, but Serial has filled in the gap, making his way into this corner. He'll be spotted. Reveal the spams into the corner, not landing on him. The trade, at least from Patatek, but numbers thinning out. Patatek holding strong, and Camo's here to help. Mini giving away his flank, but gets it to a 1v1. 15 seconds. The spike has to go down on A at this point. There's no time to turn tail. Patatek going to expertly reposition down below. It's a gamble from Mini as to where he could be, and Mini wins! The Red Bull clutch for him in a round where they put their credits on the line. Mini shows up again for Gentlemates.
We might actually have to start putting in the corner how many rounds that Mini is winning on his own for this team. They said that he would take over the in-game leading, but it seems like he has to take over the game if they're going to have a chance in this matchup. Because, again, like, you look at that round, you go, okay, Nats basically just died. But in essence, the amount of time he was able to buy and just surviving at the back of the site, it gave so much over to Liquid that, yeah, it literally came down to just one player on the clutch. And
my camera is destroyed.
As said,
I must wait a moment.
that was just the bonus. Now have a full investment coming in from the side of Liquid. And not really anything either to pad the gaps. That's the nice thing if you go in when you've lost a couple of weapons here and there. You go, okay, well, we got this ult that will help us out. Well, unfortunately for them this time, Mini's not on the Viper, so it'll be the neural theft that he's almost farmed up.
This push down by Camo is risky. The head spotted and connected on, and he has his dash to get right out. That's a nice start. He's come back out for more. They won't expect it. After seeing him fall back, short push as well. Kiko and Patatek. Serial was there, but they're backing off. They've gotten Patatek into this position. They'll bait for him. A little bit risky depending on where they come from. They might see that barrel on Patatek, but if they're focused up top, that's a different game entirely.
Timing.
They've seen him.
Timing.
They saw the barrel. I mean, it's just a bad position unless you've got that bait.
It was also, Kiko was, I think, setting up a smoke. So because of that, that setup completely fell apart. They've given up the space. Serial, that's the second time he's been scanned after missing the dart. Luckily, though, oh, when you've got Nats, you've got Kiko. Sometimes that's enough. Still two players, one of them Mini. Kamek still looking for something versus his whole team, and now needs to do it all. Two players standing down to low HP, and more Camo kicked it off. Camo finishes it off.
Well, the only round on the board was the one that Mini pulled across the line. I'm looking back at the last map as well, and I think you can put 3 or 4 more, either half or more than half of the rounds down to Mini. I think 4 is fair. Between the 3K, the 2 4Ks, and the clutch.
The 4K where they should have won a round.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know what that was. Cookie Monster style laughs. Goodness gracious,
I
all
love
right.
that. He's literally saying every time that he is lost alone. That's what he's calling him out for. And to be fair, if he's playing the breach, maybe it shouldn't be the case, but hey, it is very entertaining. And I think it will be difficult for that not to get in your head, especially with the fact that it is literally being screamed at you across the stage. But there you go, he said something that we could put on the broadcast, so I appreciate that one, Padatek, although if you were watching live, I think we have bigger issues to deal with. An early pause though, and a break back that, well, you have to bear in mind the round they won was one player surviving, so their economy has been obliterated. So it's time for coaches Go Kid to try and come out with something here. I can only assume that this pause is this early because there is something either within communication or something severe enough that you need to stop it early, otherwise this could get out of control.
Oh yeah, with 3-1 on the board. You think back on the last map again, you know, it didn't feel like mates really had their hands firmly on the reins at any point, and then you come into this 3-1.
That
Team Liquid continue.
It seemed like they didn't have their hands firmly.
Trying to fly that under the radar a little bit, but he's pulling out the disses, putting a spotlight on them. But for mates, let's see if they can find recovery. Even in this round, there's chances. Nats is there to pick up the opening. The rest of the squad a little late in following it up. Now they flood through that tiny little choke point, looking for the fight. They might get it. This is a good opportunity with the Stinger up close and the Sheriff follow-up from Kamek. That's about as good of a start as you could wish for.
All the information as well that the C site is clear. They can retrieve a gun or two, get into post-plant positions. There's a lot of ultimates that are close though. That's the main worry. Armageddon, 1 away. Bladestorm, 1 away. Any kills going in the other direction could be a problem. Kamek could get 1 though. Getting ever closer to his own. It gets an isolated fight. Serial a little bit ahead of the curve. An Aftershock versus Aftershock, but it's going to come down to just Padatek. Clears out that first kill, but there are 2 more to find, and that time is ticking. You can see Kader's not got the best weaponry, but he's just looking to be awkward, create issues for his opponent.
And that's a big issue. Smoke down, he knows the defuse can't be had before a pick is found. Unfortunately, just listen to how quickly the ticks are coming in on that spike. Paddy looking for a little bit more, and he'll find it. 3-piece in this round. It is a pay safe card thrifty, though, for Gentlemates, despite the wealth of ultimates in play for Team Liquid for the next round. This is what mates need. Chip away at that lead, and making a round like this work is splendid. It's got to recover their mental somewhat.
One enemy remaining.
Be a little bit overconfident at times, but the thing is, it's done serious damage to Liquid side. We were talking about the economy of mates, but it's weird because they're left with nothing in terms of weaponry, a single gun for Padatek, but they do have all 5 ultimates, which means you're going to get a Bladestorm, and if it gets close at any point, you might see one of those other ults thrown in.
Big push from Liquid. They got to take risks in a round like this where you don't have a lot to work with. That was Kiko to land the headshot on the Sheriff, but the rifle doesn't make it out. The knives from far away, though, able to land the kill onto Kata, removing the smokes for this side. And mates really going to struggle to find map control now. Look at the push down from Team Liquid, too. They're going to recover a rifle onto Nats, another for Camo, even if those blades run dry and don't find their mark. And there's the info. With all these ultimates online, they're being used well. And this Rolling Thunder, though it gives them the bit of mental security to cross Garage and move to the site, it doesn't land on anyone. There's nothing they can follow up with, and the advantages still need to be found elsewhere. Serial in big danger, not expecting that deep push, and that could be the undoing of this round, with Camo having it all on his shoulders and Kamek delivering shots to the head.
That's a great mid-round call. I think realizing that, okay, if we basically go for a default plant, we're going to get wrecked by the ultimates that are there from the side of Liquid, so let's push aggressively, let's catch them while they're setting up utility and have a post plant for the back of site. That's a good mid-round call coming out of Mini, and as said, like, this is a new role for him. I think the on-the-fly stuff can maybe come a little bit more naturally, like, okay, this is what I want to do in this moment, and clearly had a good read in that scenario. Back to 3-3. And something I wanted to mention as well, that the 2 maps we did see was very strong early starts from the side of mates, so it's good that they're back already.
Well, Kiko looking to be a thorn in the side, but they have rooted him out of position. The advantage stays with Mates, the site to be taken. Rolling Thunder put in early. That's getting Serial into position to slow or maybe stop this push altogether. The drone up top, it's catching info and they're following up, swinging in, but it's Kamek holding the angle that finds the reward. Nats, 3 players to pick up. The drones even spotted him, so right away, there's no surprise anymore. Mates know exactly where he is, and I don't think you see very often a player look for that spam battle after being spotted up, so an ambitious play by Nats, and he did some damage.
I think that's exactly why he did it. Oh, close angle. That's risky. This is not the sort of guy that you want to give opportunities to. Nats now turning it into a 1v2. The crossfire is still nasty. Realistically, when contact is made, there should be a swing, and while Kada doesn't give the chance for anything more. Another solid round from Kamek as well, back-to-back multi-frags as he now moves up to the top of the board. It literally is him and Panatek at the top of the moment.
They're doing it all. And yeah, when you look at how we've gotten here for Team Liquid, 3 out of 4 of the first rounds, Mates, like you said, we need that early success, and they are most certainly finding it here. This is comfort for them as well. A map that they chose, and a battleground that seems to favor them from what we've seen so far. For Team Liquid, a pause. Taking the time out here, and they're coming into a round where they don't have a lot of credits. They came in with 5 ultimates not long ago, and no success found. And they spent those ultimates, the Blade Storm used before, the Rolling Thunder, and the Armageddon, nothing. Finding the reward that they needed.
I think it's worth noting as well that, again, when you look back to their victories when they were playing at kickoff, it was 9, 8, and 9 rounds on this defensive side. So they have been stellar on this side of the map. A lot of it came down to solid set plays based around the Tejo. And, if I'm being brutally honest, it came down to Kamek having a fantastic game. Like, each time, as I said, I think it was the last 4 times, including their loss to G2, he either finished top in 3 of the matches in terms of rating, or he finished second. So removing that as a piece of the puzzle for this map, it's going to be difficult to plug and play, and I'll be honest, Serial looks a little bit more jittery. Like, I think some of the fights he's been taking, it looks like he's been set up to succeed. Rolling Thunder in the last round gets absolutely nothing for it.
Granted, but when he swung into that angle, there were 2 players holding him.
Sure.
This is the thing, and the fact that I think Click was the only one really affected by the Rolling Thunder because it was quite early. Players were still out on long. So yes, he didn't win the fight, but also we look to the utility as potentially could have been used a little bit better. Or maybe we look to Mates and say they avoided it very well, regardless of why that happened. There's no denying that it did, and for Team Liquid, 3 rounds on the board. It was a good start with 3-1, but now Mates have full control. They have their hands back, and they're firmly on the reins. Now, for the defensive side, not a big investment, not a round we expect a lot. And the push coming in towards this A site. Mates are running right into a mostly open site. The only danger is spotted now. He's able to get out of there at least, and I mean, if he finds a kill, I am surprised and perhaps perplexed. Well done by Zipan to deal with that, and it looks like just housekeeping across the board going well.
Yeah, very nice take. Methodical as well. The mistakes that we saw in the last map have seemingly dissipated. I said much more of a comfortable pick, and maybe a few confidence kills coming up for Serial. It's unlikely to change the round, but I think maybe
Really? Use the ult there? Are you sure about that?
Was that a misclick or just ego? I don't know. That seems mental. Maybe just doesn't like the ult, but he'd be the first.
Yeah, I'm really not sure of the logic behind using the ult there. I'm going to go with it was a misclick, but I'm sure it's possible it was just a confidence play as well.
Yeah,
there's no way he activated it there in the middle of the open. Yep.
Definitely misclick. Okay, that's fine.
Nail on the head.
It
well,
happens.
that's, yeah. If he looked happy about using it, I would have been, we would have to bring that up in the interview later on. 5-3. Gentlemates continue to put rounds up here on the attack side. And it's Team Liquid looking to hold on to the C side as a lot of presence is sent this way early on for Mates. Ult even used by Kata, committed as he's now got deep back site control and a Hunter's Fury out of Zipan. This is a lot invested for Mates.
All of that to kill Nats,
and he still
walks away.
Yeah.
You need to remove him from the setup. And to be honest, that is the main thing. You've got him out. He's not lurking, he's not hiding somewhere in there.
Spike planted.
When you look what's remaining for the retake, Panatek, no util, no paranoia. It's only going to be what comes back offline. Timing is going to be everything. They're going through at the same time, an even trade to start things out, but it seems like it's eventually going to swing into the attacker's favor. 2 remaining for that defense as they get picked apart one by one. This started off level, but the fact is mates are starting to run away with it now.
Obviously, when we switch to Kamek, you can be a little bit worried seeing the ult just being held in hand, but there were 2 teammates close, ready for that fight. He's close so that the ult doesn't hit his teammates, but still gets them. And the gamble a lot of the time is they're going to use utility. Who retakes through a smoke without using util? That's your sign. They're on their way. Ult fired through and worked well. But again, we go back to the start of the round. This is somewhere that there were a lot of ultimates for mates. Oh, wow. Especially after Click using his ulti by accident at the end of the previous round. They came in and invested 3 ultis. That's a big ulti con dump, but it works out. It's an important round, a swing round perhaps, as Team Liquid invested their money, and now they don't have any.
Now we've got Camo with a hero rifle. Something to note as well, mentioned the pause from Goked. Correct me if I'm wrong, 3-1 down?
I think so.
Haven't lost a round since. So whatever he spotted, whatever the words of wisdom were from the coach, they have definitely made a difference. Well,
Deploying drone.
this round at least, expectations incredibly low. For Camo, he's either got to get enough kills that he's close to his ult, or he's got to basically win it. This is going well for Nats though. This is why you want to get rid of this guy as soon as possible. Kiko gets one as well with the shotgun. And they have not got rid of Nats. That is, as said, in the last round the goal was kill Nats. The goal is still kill Nats.
Yeah, and it ain't going well.
Enemy remaining.
No,
He's
it's
picked
not.
up a 3rd, the first 2 with a Sheriff, and now the recovered rifle working wonders.
Goka's going, I said kill Nats.
Oh, well, that strategy might have to be repeated in the next timeout. Finally, Nats will go down, but so does Kata with a pay save card. Thrifty. Team Liquid have broken that win streak on the other side. It was a 5-round in a row performance from the side of mates. They tasted defeat at long last, and well, after using up their ultis, it's not like they have an easy fallback for those safety nets. The fact that Nats is able to get so much done here is outrageous.
Enemy remaining.
I didn't realize he recovered the rifle so quickly as well, immediately after the kill.
That was the thing. I think Mini maybe overplayed it a little bit. Like, knew where he would be hiding off the back of that cam, went to pre-fire it, and just Nats was quicker. That's the thing. That single gun completely changed the round. An aggressive start, solid stun out from Padatek. Going to set up Camo wonderfully. In fact, the second assist, but goes out for more. And in fact, Zipan's found a quick double, and then Mini's lurking to get his revenge. Catches out Nats. Now it's left all onto one, and well, Mini has immediately called for that rotation. Bring the spike to me.
Yeah, Kiko tried to fake it out, getting caught by the ultimate rotating, and he goes back in the other direction just in case. But as the spike is planted, he'll realize that, yeah, this is the other side of the map that's in play. And take a look. Economy, it's decent for the next round, but one player, Nats, down to 400. And I think that's got Kiko thinking about carrying this weapon through for the drop.
Yeah, especially if he gets a few extra credits. That's maybe an outlaw. Like, he can just give that over to Nats. It's a perfectly viable weapon for Nats to play. So I think holding on to this gun is going to be ever important. Wow. Kamek is looking. He's been called out throughout the match by his opponent, but he is now the top fragger in the server. Removing this gun would be nice, but I think it's such an unexpected angle to be held. And well, the rest of the players a little bit further away. Kiko actually going back to the side. Got to be careful. Well, loses his life right at the end. Big kill for Zipan. I think they may still scrape a bye together, but it's definitely not going to be quite as nice as they would have liked.
Yeah, there's going to be gaps now. I think, you know, early fight for that defensive side. Camo's able to land so much, and it seems like this one's locked down. Serial's still on long, but Zipan comes swinging back through, and you lose 3 players on the other side of the map. You see 3 players there fighting you. You think maybe you should rotate pretty quickly, but that ends up being Nats' demise. 7-4. Team Liquid behind by 3. A different face to mates. Armageddon used. Salvo sent through, and it's Kamek and Kata caught. A huge performance from Team Liquid with early aggressive util on A, and they have sent Mini into a difficult scenario, a 1v5 to pick up. The spike's down.
Can we just dive to the setup he normally runs? Like, we've literally seen him do that exact setup, and they've just fallen hook, line, and sinker for the exact same thing. It is very difficult to avoid, I'll say. If you're set up outside A, it's a disgusting combination. And while Mini, leading by example, seems like an impossibility, and in-zone flawless to close out the half, it's close going into the second.
Yes, a better face from the side of Gentlemates. They've done well to go in with the lead. 2 rounds separate these two teams. We'll find out if map 3 is in our future after the break.
One enemy remaining.
Well, it's time to find out if this is the last map of the night or if we're going the distance all the way to Icebox. The choice is up to Gentlemates. They're leading by 2, but they need to win this map to have a shot at this series. Some good signs of life, though, in that first half. And for Team Liquid, look, we had a good start, 3-1 up, but Mates managed to sweep their way right back into the game. Do you think things are going to change for Liquid, though, now that they're on the attack?
That's the thing. A lot of the big victories we've had from them, it's been, as said, a solid showing from Kamek and solid defensive halves, which obviously we had one of those, but unfortunately he's on the other team now. So I'm interested to see what Liquid have got on the attack because, as said, in most cases, they've been so far ahead that their pistol could have closed the game. So definitely be interesting. I always think, though, you have the setup of Paditek and an aggressive jet of Camo, you got a good chance.
Well, it's time to get right into the game and right into the B side. Camo going deep on that dash. Smoke off to the left side as they look to work A with this split, and Camo will be a real annoyance to these players as he wraps all the way around, tucked on the boxes, hearing the rotations as well. They could bring the spike back, but I think they're going to try to use Camo when he springs that trap. It could be being watched by Kata. The timing here will be everything as the fight on the site. They've lost Kata. Now their back is wide open. They need to fight forward. Kamek, good for one onto Paditek, and he'll keep them boxed in. The spike can't run back, can't cross and move to C without going straight through Kamek. It has managed to slip out with the TP, but that leaves a player isolated, surrounded, and a shock dart to take him down from the grave. Kamek,
30 seconds left.
A 1v2. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible.
Yeah, with how he's been playing, definitely seems like his most comfortable map. Now should have the realization that needs to go back towards C. The issue, though, is just the position of Camo. Like, he has been an anomaly throughout the round. Where he could be at this stage is completely unknown, and Kiko actually watching the angle instead. It will be another pistol. But as we saw in the last map, sometimes winning both pistols isn't enough.
Well, that's the thing for Team Liquid, especially being down by 2. This almost just resets them coming into things. You have to hope for a better performance when the rifles come up. And I like the idea coming in from the attack. I love the fact that Serial also realizes, you know, I'll give you the spike, you get out of here. He stays with the sinking ship. He knows he's not going to have a good time, but still does well to take the kill.
Save yourself.
Yeah, go on without me. And he most certainly did. I mean, Kata didn't blink. All right, cool, I'm out. Not taking that fight.
Remember me.
Luckily, they don't have to remember him for too long. He's right back on the server, and lots of rifles here. 4, in fact, with a Spectre. Team Liquid don't really want to be losing anyone, and what they're up against does very much enable that reality. Mates have only got classics, but they have got numbers.
Now with the spike ticking, post-plant utility in position. Element of surprise is not going to be an easy one. They know there's no flank. Trips are still in play. Part of me does wonder if mates just get to the stage where it's go, okay, we don't want to just feed them orbs. We don't want to give them ultimates going into their bonus. Let's just try and hold on to whatever we can. Oh, well, Kada's at least found a kill. That's an extra gun dropped to the deck. It's not one of the rifles. The next kill would be a rifle if they could find one, but that's a lot easier said than done. And well, at this stage, yeah, he does actually have to run back in, otherwise he's not dying for that spike.
Yeah, obviously Serial there just sidestepping the stun caused a bit of issues, but real potential for lasting damage in that round. 2-0 start in the half. Team Liquid find themselves neck and neck. The investment from them, decent.
Yeah.
You look at that and you think Bulldogs, especially going together, it's not going to be as much of a disadvantage as you might think. For Gentlemates, that means they've got to be cautious in this round. Click on the Neon. 7-13, it's not the strongest of starts, but I think he might be looking to add up and tally up a few more eliminations to the board. He's close in Garage, and he's heard a TP. He's heard lots of noise moving towards this B site. It's all about his timing. Oh, but he's paranoid. It's still good for one, but the trade so quick. And as they pull back into the angle, the close range weapons, well, they love that fight. They don't like that one, though. Mini shutting them down.
Again, solid position. Well, the second he's on an angle, that crosshair placement is pristine. Another round to add to the tally of, yep, that one comes down to Mini. And a lead taken. I do agree, though, that the issue with Click having a tougher game, obviously when you're diving into the sights on the attack, you can kind of forgive it, but he needs to pick up here because a passive Neon, I don't know if there's many of those. The one that springs to mind was, I think it was Defo back on Split. So it was a while ago.
Oh yeah, we're really
then it was just him like bouncing stuns to slow people down.
Yeah, the initiator Neon, support Neon. I'm not sure it's going to catch on.
No, it shouldn't.
And I don't think Click's going to be looking to make it catch on either. Zipman doesn't get the info, but still fires the shock dart through, knowing someone broke his little arrow. But Nats has gone down, and yeah, it was the peek into the window. Now, he's gone down, no control over your back. It's time to go forward.
Already pressure in. I like that. Isolates the kill on the non-blinded player, but that does give Zipan time to regain his vision and take down the majority of the squad. Kamik came in as backup, and this deadly duo of initiators has slaughtered Team Liquid's entry into the site.
Well, they've done a wonderful job. After initial pick as well, you know, you get very pigeonholed by that. You got to go forward, because if you don't, they can be coming behind you at any given moment. You're losing players to having to secure your flank.
You're so good, Kamik. Let's go. Click, hit him and look at my ass.
As they go diving in, well, Gentlemates are all too ready to receive that party. 9-7, 2-round gap. Mates climbing back up. They lose the pistol, they lose the follow-up, but since then, nothing but success. Now Liquid have got a lighter buy. Sheriffs, Stingers, and no ultimates to fall back on. Patatek could maybe have his, but realistically, this is just going to be a brute force round. Looking to use the numbers, and a few, well, to be honest, I thought more shots hit than did. I think none hit.
No.
He's being robbed.
Blinding. Well, they will have the sight. The main thing that can work in their favor here is time. Walking into the trip won't help. Mini is going to go through this. The cavalry has arrived alongside him. You can see, though, the only goal from Liquid is to play up close, and I think they've misread how far forward these players on Gentlemates have gone. They wanted the close angle onto the spawn. Aditek's done well. Kill, you don't really expect him to win.
One enemy remaining.
The rest of them are not going their way. Left all onto Nats. Quick and clean.
It's starting to feel like things are, well, heating up for Gentlemates, but maybe cooling down as we move to Icebox next for Team Liquid. If they want to have a say in that, if they want to stop it, it's in the coming round. See those blockades put up. But right now, everything's working. The A hit. There were some numbers there and quick rotations coming in from the B site that helped out. I know it was Kamek who ended up picking up a double here on C, again showing that they're more than ready to receive a bit of a direct hit in that direction. And that's going to leave Liquid scratching their heads. Where can they take it? They call a timeout to discuss that as, like I said, with economy being invested into the next one and Gentlemates pushing 11 if they win, facing into a lighter buy, it's do or die, more or less.
Yeah, I think also, similarly to the first half, it was a pause that flipped the script for Goked and the squad, but do we have the same from Lohan on the other side? Can he bring something to the table? They come in with a Rolling Thunder, always going to be helpful, but that Hunter's Fury, and actually almost every single ult coming online, as long as Click's not going to accidentally use his before, it really has the value. But to be honest, at this stage, round or two could just reset Liquid into that third map, just not having the economy to really fight back from it, and some of the performers on their side definitely being a little bit quieter. As said, you have taken your best performer on Haven, given him to your opponent, and unfortunately it's not always going to happen that your youngster making his debut is going to do as well as someone like Sibo, who just happened to have like one of the best performances we've ever seen. That's not the expectation. Don't get it wrong, don't get it twisted. Especially when Serial is literally just plug and play at the moment.
Oh, we talk about the passive Neon. We're not going to see it from Click, thankfully. It is that aggressive hold, but there's a trap waiting for him. Look, Elite, if he keeps pushing forward, he'll get that information. Thing is, you know, usually when you push through that point, you're already committing to the deep control.
Locating targets.
So they won't know about that trap late into the round. The drone sends him flying backwards, and that's just causing a bit of an eyesore, popping up that cage so they don't know what's going on. They can't see the play at hand. The B site threatened, but also spotted out. I think they were just trying to fill in the space, hoping that there would be an overreaction to C, but that hasn't occurred.
Again, like Gentlemates have been fairly happy with their positions. I think as well, when you have that Hunter's Fury available, you know that you can buy yourself time. Like, you don't have to overcommit to these fights. Like, you saw there was a moment Zipan gets a tag with the drone. He could have used it just for that kill. That's not the goal. The goal is delay. The goal is to make sure that no plants are easy. Is battle going to be an interesting one? Is it read by Nats? We've seen this position, but on the other side, back in the cam, knows there's still a guy there. Stun comes through, just looks to try and clear him out. That's wonderful. And then the Hunter's Fury used as well. 20 seconds of the move is made, and that kill was everything for Kiko. The time is going to be rough just to try and get back in. A solid stun might even close this one out.
And they're ready. Everybody's here. Aftershock in, and Zipan swinging with support. Gentlemates make that one look easy with 4 players left alive and a gap of 4 rounds. Team Liquid put their credits into that one. So now they're going to come in with very much not a pretty buy. Whether they put it all on the line here and now, I don't know. 11-7. You don't want them to push up to 12. You don't want them to have 5 chances to close it out, but you're not likely to win with the deeper investment in this one anyways.
I think the thing in this round is, like, Liquid have the expectation of aggression. They were correct. They forced that aggression back, but the fact is it still felt like that they were the ones running out of time. They were the ones pushing the clock, and Gentlemates look calm and even confident at this stage. They are swinging for battles and brawls versus pistols. They seem to not give a damn about who's standing on the other side. A kill for Nats will garner his ult, will give them information, but what does that information tell you? Okay, they are spread across the map.
Great, go action on that. For Mates, that has been really nice to see on this defensive side. Crazy over rotations, both players were low, and Kiko manages to find both kills as a result. Rifle recovered. And Mates, they might not over-rotate, but both players dying on B leaves a real problem in the late round. Zipan, well, he was surrounded, but it was a 1v1 with Nats that he lost. The timing perfect for the leader of Liquid. With a plant in, Mini is left to make the big play again. And looking at what he's against, your Omen, your Jet, sure, not too big of a problem, but with a trap covering spawn walkout and a cam covering short, plus running into Kiko. They've got all the information, all the boxes ticked, and for Mini, especially after being spotted, I think he's making the right call.
Yeah, It feels like at times that Gentlemates have clearly had enough time to sort of drill certain ideas. Like, when they have a set play, I think it's been brilliant. Like, speak about the last round, the cam, into the stun, into the opener, into the Hunter's Fury, and into the delay, and then using the Aftershock and everything at the end. Great round. Then you look at this one, where it feels a little bit more free-flowing, like people left to their own devices to make decisions, and it's messy. It's very messy. And I think a lot of that will come with time. Obviously, a pay-safe card, Thrifty, to get that round away, but that's the thing. Early fights go fantastically, but then there's just almost this boisterous attitude of, yeah, let's swing it again, let's fight it again. And these 2 kills is just, you're up against a pistol. That's one of the few ways I think you lose the round. And then Zipan, I think there's just a domino effect. Like, I can't stay here, I've got to do something, and round falls apart.
Yeah, it did feel a bit unnecessary. I think especially with Click pushing down on short, right? Like going down into sewers at that point. It's space that you don't need to hold, but they wanted it.
Yeah.
And they have very much paid the price. 3 rounds in it. For Team Liquid, it still feels doable, I'm sure. We've got a Blade Storm and an Armageddon coming into this round. High-value ultimates. Meanwhile, Kamek with Rolling Thunder could look to recover late round. Click on the push-up. I didn't like the short push last round, but this space will be vital in the late round, allowing them to have these rotations. Breach leaving A, moving closer to that B side. He'll be ready with a stun in hand. It's Mini alongside Kata with a huge opportunity here, and the swing is good, but the kills, they go the other way. Kiko, Paddy, and Camo. 3 players stepping up in unison, and that couldn't be worse for Click. The trap gets put up right in front of his eyes. At least it won't surprise him, I suppose, but if he was just 2 steps further ahead.
One of the worst things.
Oh man, what's that?
Nats has the spike. So
yeah,
if he was literally ahead of that, the spike's on the ground, and there's 3 players having to run back towards you. The dash is just bait. They were very ready for some tricky positions. Camo willing to sacrifice himself, wasn't even needed. Oh, for Click. It comes down to the same scenario as the prior round. They do have credits. Like, they could risk it. He could try and do some damage. Even has his ultimate online. Please don't use it here. But realistically, just wanting to make sure that they're not going to get into those later rounds and start to have issues. But that, again, it feels at times a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, the ball is very much rolling now for Team Liquid. It's picking up pace, picking up mass, and for mates, they'll really want to pump the brakes soon. Coming in with a couple ultis, Zipan not far away from Hunter's Fury, but Team Liquid finding all this success. Again, early control for mates was good. They got up A long, they had themselves a lot of information. The rotations were in the right spot. The stun was in, I think a little deep, but other than that, not much negative to report home about. Not sure if that was worth stepping out for. It's late in the game, but they've got plenty of money to back up into. It's just, you know, those things have an effect as time goes on.
The reason they want to keep those credits so good is because they're going to invest into an operator. I definitely think that this can be a game changer. Just think about how slow at times this Liquid roster have been playing, like almost trying to play a game of cat and mouse, bait them into different positions while having an operator just lock down half of the map could be very helpful indeed.
And also seeing that the back isn't being left open a lot for Team Liquid, so Click's not finding value in the late round pushes. But if he can hold that information passive on A, they can rotate in and again be much heavier stacked up elsewhere. Armageddon put into play for Team Liquid. It's towards the C site. Pressure put onto a player like Mini, but he delivers every time under this pressure. Kata, having snuck in along, was in a good spot, but Kiko pulls it right back. Nats sneaking through, catches 2, and now it's Kata with it all to do. He's left the spike behind him. That's not ideal, but he has the ult if he wants it. I think just could have grabbed it. Yeah, stuck down. He's on the defensive side, so you're not going to need the spike. All right, then what I'm talking about.
He's trying to protect the spike.
I want mates to be back on the attack, Tom. It was a much better side for them, but jeez, it's not going well now. That early pick, that aggression from Kata, the fact that Mini is there to pick up side pick, avoid the ultimate from Serial. They get spike, they get control, but Kiko being able to sneak into this position is outrageous.
You're a bit like Gentlemates. They got lost in the sauce.
Yeah,
they didn't know where these
man.
players were coming from, and the fact that Kiko manages to even get into that position feels like an absurdity. I think it was it must have been around the timing of that Armageddon. You're so focused on getting out of the way that he's taken that spot at the back of the site, and that caused them so many issues. And then, of course, he is the show, and Nats Well, that's the nail in the coffin. That's the guy behind to stab you in the back every single time. I said, he had a quite a first half. I think they did well to sort of get him out of position a lot of the time. Still had a round of 2, of course. But that's got to be a tough one to lose, a frustrating one. Again, early advantages, early setup looked great. But, and that's the problem, there's always a but. There's always been this turnaround, 3 in a row now for Team Liquid, and we are seeing diminishing returns for Gentlemates. A chance to go to map 3, but well, they're going to need this pause to be effective. Last one was.
The big investment as well from the operator, it being on the other side of the map here, certainly doesn't play into their hands. Now they don't have that choice. I think Click could have gone for glass cannon.
Also, it's going to be on the other side. Oh, no, it's not.
It's gone.
That disappeared as I said it. That was a magic trick. Can I do that with anything else? Fingers
maybe click one of the ults for Team Liquid. Get rid of the Blade Storm. Give him a chance.
Oh, wait, maybe at the beginning of the round?
But yeah, no, I mean, Mates had that setup on C. They had the aggression, they had the spike, it didn't work out. Now for Liquid, they're going right back to the C site, feeling perhaps like there's some blood in the water, but Mini is holding strong. This guy's been delivering every time they need him, and he does with a double. In comes Click, ult activated, information there for him as well. He's trying to force the fight with very low HP on Kiko. It looked like a good decision until Patatek hiked up for 2. Team Liquid, 11 and 11. The comeback, it seemed possible, but far out of reach for a while. But with 4 in a row, the shoe's on the other foot, and Mates, they're stalling.
Well, that's the thing. The saying is a hero rides in on a horse, a knight in shining armor. Well, Liquid have a few of them. Like, the last 2 rounds have literally come down to what? Kiko Nats having like crazy clutch rounds. Panatek in this one. Nice! 2 massive kills. And now the pressure really does have to be on the shoulders of Gentlemates. They look like they were home and dry. They've had multiple rounds where they should have been. Now they're starting to falter, starting to dwindle. The credits fading away behind them as well. You wouldn't want to go into the next round with nothing to play with and everything on the line. The question is the confidence even still there? You're 11-11, you're not out of it yet, but it's got to start to dawn on you.
Let's push from Liquid. Haven't tested the B site blindly all too often, and there has been space there. Click. Oh, he's pushed out by the salvos, and Nat's ready and waiting. But Mini steps in to fill the space with Kata. 2 kills and the advantage back for them. Kamek there for a double, and it's Kiko. 1v3. He's picked up the first of the 1v4 and has some space towards the A site. Perhaps a plan from this situation, and I mean, even then, though, kind of wants a pick to make this look doable.
Planting on B, it doesn't leave you with a lot, even just in terms of where to go. Doesn't know what parts of the map are clear. Obviously still having the expectation, like Zipan has been late on A almost every single round, and now the place he smoked is the place that they're looking to push through. Other side has been smoked off, maybe considering where they are. He's heard the steps. That will at least give the game away for one of the players. Spam doesn't connect and has to be careful. There's a man still in the middle. It took a little bit of time, but Mates have got there in the end. They are on map point.
Yeah, especially losing that pick towards Garage. The quick decision from Mini and Kata to go right back in. Paranoia burned up, and for great reward with Serial trying to send in utility to help his teammates. And obviously the slow creep up through B just meets a player holding back sight, and oh, you're looking the wrong way in traffic. This is the round Mates needed. Guaranteed in overtime at least. But Team Liquid, well, they've won 4 in a row just before that. Perhaps that was a hiccup.
I'll find them.
It's for Mates to close out, and I think Click is going for another aggressive start straight down middle. Certainly starting with the right posture, and yeah, indeed, they're going to creep their way through.
Game to play. That's twice that Nats has had a pop. Oh, there's so many steps being heard, but Serial's waiting for it. I don't think that was an intentional bait, but it is a bait, and Camo's now found that solo man. They've known this as well. Zipan has been holding onto that A site unless there's been a push. Now with no ultimates other than, well, the From the Shadows, and even that's going to get dissipated. Mini with one, he's been a hero, but he could do no more. And it is Kamek versus his former squad to try and fight versus the lot of them. Otherwise, overtime is coming, and I'll be honest, I think it is.
Oh, Kiko even gets hit by the Rolling Thunder just to buy them that extra time, Kamek. He's got a shorty.
He's going for a knife. He's going for a knife.
Oh,
I
no.
guarantee it. I guarantee. Like, this is literally Fanatec just trolling. He's shouting at him across the stage. Oh my god. There is some real bite to this matchup. Fanatec wants this. I wouldn't be surprised if Kamek wants it just as much.
And I'm sure for Gentlemates, this feels like they were very close to bringing us to Icebox, but now it's been snatched out of their hands. It's difficult to bounce back from these. I mean, we've seen it yesterday with Koi. It looked like it was their game to lose, and then it was. And you love to see...
I lost the life again. That's oh, I genuinely... I would love to just sit, watch this game, and listen to Fanatec comms just the whole time. I wouldn't. I think that's the most.
One of those old
Should we just mute up? We'll just play that. Stream will get taken down.
Yeah,
but
it's not lasting long, Tom. Sponsors are on the phone right away.
Somewhere the producer going, no, we can't do that.
All right, we're into our OT. Team Liquid seem to have built up a lot of momentum for Gentlemates. Back to the attack. This time Kata is on the attack, right? Hold on.
Give me a round. I'll have to think about it.
Yeah, we'll think about it. We'll come back to that.
I'll tell you next round.
Hold on. We've got our stats guy, the Hog, looking into it. We'll find out soon. For Gentlemates, movement towards the A site, but 2 players left back on B. They're going to sneak through and try to steal that space out from under Team Liquid while applying all this pressure. That'll be the spike going back in the other direction, and this is a great read from the attack on where Liquid have been leaving those gaps. Nats, he loses the fight as well. Finally, click in with the opening pick, and that should get them a plant.
Very worried if it doesn't. Serial now has to deal with the same fate potentially. Nice shot.
They don't know about the second.
Yeah, but it's whether or not Kata actually swings first and actually gets the info, but Kata is there. Just by the TP again. Kiko seems to get so much space from absolutely nothing, but it's Zipan. 2 quick kills through the smoke and only Camo standing. He'll go down.
It's nicely done. Like I said, what a read from Mates after it being a little break for them over on the attack side. They figure B is going to be left open, especially if they make that early presence on A with what has been an attacking side from them previously that was much more direct. And so it is left wide open. And Team Liquid send Nats back to check it. He's not expecting Click to be that close. And that's the first time in a long while we've seen Click get a kill. He's been quiet. I remember him being 10 and 16. Now he's 11 and 21. So it's been a slow start, but finding that value, getting the space, finding the pick, this is what we needed to see.
I was going to say, do we call it a slow start in round number 26? I guess it depends how long it goes. And that's the thing.
There's another map.
That realistically, though, this is all that matters at this point. If they can get this round over the line, go into that final map, and as said, like, obviously it's Icebox just been added back into the pool. Don't know much of what to expect. The only thing I'll say I definitely expect is Nats is quite good at Icebox. Seen many a clip. Yeah, many a clip.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
13-0 to team or 2.
I still can't believe he guessed the clip from the commentary and the video Liquid put out. That made me so happy to see that that moment was as special to him as it was to all of us at home.
Kind of making me want to see Icebox now, but
yeah,
I'm sure for Liquid themselves, they're probably saying, they're going, oh, I'd rather not, actually. Of course, for any Liquid fans out there, how are the heart palpitations? Another year? Another year?
Day at the office.
More stress? It's always relaxing. It must be so relaxing being a Liquid fan, but just remember, could be worse. Could be a NAVI fan.
Oh.
That's a stressful life.
That's a
stressful life. Is it? It's been stressful for the last few years. Oh, God.
I've got a update down the bottom. A player has reported a hardware issue. We should be resuming fairly shortly. Gives them a moment to stew in it again. You know, this isn't a situation where they can talk over the tactics. You got to stay silent during the technical pauses, but just to reflect on how some of these rounds have been going individually, and I think for this defensive side coming, you know, they've just played that one round of OT, but they've had a lot of experience, fresh experience on how this has been running, on how Liquid like to approach this attack. And I'm curious to see if we are going to get Click used for that early aggression, because I think that's been something that we haven't seen that much of. Straight down C long, I think once A pushes have been here or there. Unlikely we'll see the operator in play with the Neon, but who knows? Oh, the Reds disappeared. That's what we like to see. It's time to get back into the game. The timer is ticking. And Gentlemates, one round away from bringing us to a decider on Icebox. For Team Liquid, right back to success on the attack. That's what they're hoping for. Another OT and a 2-0 closer.
They've got the potential experience diff, only slightly though. A lot of players that have been around the block once or twice. It's the same battle. We've seen it many a time. Zipan looking for the fight, even swinging out for the fight, will go down because of it. And as said, a lot of the time he has been that solo A hold. The thing is though, mates are not just sitting pretty, they are walking up mid.
They've taken this space a few times. It's not always successful. Often Team Liquid were ready for it, waiting for it, but a player deep in window, not on their radar. 3 versus 4, and steps heard towards the A site. Guess who's holding down strong here? Mini's been on C, but he swapped it up, and now they don't know what they're running into. That stun was beautiful, and Mini's in with a double. Gentlemates fighting tooth and nail for this map, and they've got it. Many thanks to Mini for that accolade. 14-12. We'll go all the way to Icebox.
It's been a close one. It's been back and forth, even a streak of rounds from Liquid to try and bring it back, but we go for another. It will end on Icebox after the break.
I'm so good! Let's go, guys! Let's go! This game's on me! Let's go!
Let's go, bro. You have the goal. Let's go, Mini.
I have them in my pocket. I have them in my pocket, guys. You got this, guys, okay?
Bro, you have the goal, bro. You have the goal.
Come on, lose to serial killer. This guy put cheap up, guys. Come on, focus.
So, guys, please look at them. No one win a fight against us. Even in real life, bro. They are so ugly, bro.
Red Bull gives you wings.